semifinals between Duke's D team and Georgia Tech's B team. They decided to play a little early today. I almost forgot, but here I am. I see 3 of the games have started already. We got Chase Frutos, the top board from Duke. What's up, Wikipedia? First in chat. You're probably more on time than I am. That is Jeffrey. We got Titus, the captain from Georgia Tech. So we got a couple captains in the chat. I'm really excited for today, you guys. This is going to be a special stream. Not that, all of our streams aren't special, but this one's particularly special because later today I will be joined by Grandmaster Ray Robson here in the commentary booth. Not physically here, but he'll be joining me in a call, and we will be going over some games of the players in the Collegiate Chess League, which is pretty exciting. I don't think he might join for the next match, which should start in like an hour and 50 minutes. Lana Artur, hello. Good to see you as well. How are you? Go Duke. We got a couple Duke fans in the chat, I see. I know Titus is a Georgia Tech fan. So good to see everyone tuning in. Oh, we have a very quick draw by repetition here. Let's see. It seems as though Gus just won this piece with a fork, but there was no way to get out of this. So Soy Sapura actually getting a wait, Soy Sapura is the 4th board for Duke. That's a huge result. No, not a full point, only a half a point there. But against Gus, the top board of Georgia Tech. So that is a big result for Duke to get a draw on the 4th board. Georgia Tech saying, oops, blundering the perpetual. His top board of the B team. So yeah, later we will have another Division 6 matchup actually between Jabalpur and Carnegie Mellon's B team. And then we have both Division 2 and Division 1 semifinals matches, followed by a Division 10 match between Akron and Howard, which is going to be pretty fun. And that's our stream schedule for today. So we should be on the front page of Twitch starting at 10 a.m. Pacific until 1 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be pretty fun and exciting. And then, okay, can we push D5? D5 here. Maybe not? Seems interesting. Okay, so taking here, and then we have knight here with the counter punch. That was a threat. So maybe we take here, and then we take here. How's that sound? And then we push here once they go here. That looks pretty good to me. After this. Oh, this is hanging. Interesting. Yeah, if our knight had been developed, this would be a very clear tactic for white to win material. Bishop takes a8, rook takes a8. Yeah, that restores balance of material for the most part. I didn't really count all the pawns and all that, but I do still think that bishop takes e5 is best. It's crazy, before I could even say all that, Jeffrey's got it all typed out. Alright, here we have Andrew versus Jesse. So Andrews actually goes by Andy. This is their B team. No, this is Duke's captain. Hugo, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Hello, Oregon Big Red. Good to see you as well. So Andy's down to their last 45 seconds. They seem to be a little bit on the struggle bus, just a little bit. I am not playing today. I'm just commentating. I'm watching. These are the real athletes here. These are college students competing in the Collegiate Chess League. You guys, you might think you want to play me, but you don't. No, maybe later. Um, you can definitely play me on my own channel at another time, but for now, I am just a humble commentator. The knight retreats here, perhaps looking to go to d4, but also opening up the queen, attacking the a5 pawn. The queen is defending b2 for the moment, as the knight move also opens up this dark square bishop on the fianchetto. So perhaps the threat was just to take with a knight, which would hit the rook. So the pawn moves, and now the second knight comes in, connecting the knights, blocking the bishop's diagonal once again. So perhaps we will see this knight a5 move hitting the rook anyways, not necessarily grabbing a pawn, but maybe clearing the path for the other knight, but probably not. I don't think that you want to put this knight on the rim. Might not be worth it, although it does put a lot of pressure on c4, but for the time being, c4 isn't hanging. After the knight moves, the queen will be defending it. Here, black brings up their other rook to put pressure on the knights. We have a3. Yeah, very low on time, I agree, but there is some increment. But black is definitely the side for choice, not only from increment or for the time, but also in the position as they are up in exchange. So we do see knight a5, and the other knight comes in to c6. I think maybe the c4 pawn was hanging. I don't know. Okay, the rook is hanging here, so you got to defend that guy. Okay, so now this pawn is hanging with tempo, a big tempo, and I think things are going to start to fall apart here for white. Yeah, the time pressure became too strong. That's a fork right there. Your best bet is to try to block with the rook and hope they pre-move. You can take that, but okay, now this should be mate very soon. You can hear bishop. No, there's knight. Okay, little repeat. Don't threefold. Okay, takes here. Bishop check, double check. Rook and mate. Okay. Now there's no mate in one, but it's mate in very soon, which is good enough for the Duke player. That is mate right there. They're gonna let okay. Alright, so actually not Duke, sorry. AP Truth, the board 2 of Georgia Tech. Okay, so now let's go back to Kristen and Chase. So Chase looking to be doing well. Chase does have a potential lag issue, so hopefully that doesn't come into play later. Both players under a minute on the clock. Kristen trying to sneak their way in here. Bishop here, so yeah, rook takes c5 was crushing for white. If they had played that move, Chase Fruitov would have been upset. So this was a chance for Georgia Tech to take down the top board. They missed the exchange sacrifice. If they could recognize that the dark squares of black were too weak to defend after the bishop had been taken, they could have had a very forceful sequence there with rook takes c5. Unfortunately missed it. Yes, these are chess.com ratings. Are they accurate? That is a great question. I personally hope so. This is a free pawn. Black takes it. We have queen check. You can block with something, or you can go back. Queen here threatens this, but I suspect Chase Frutos will see it. Alright, so they double. The threat is to take. White ignores the double. Trying to get the queens off. Chases up a knight and 2 pawns. White's trying to get some pawns back. Active rook. Rook c1 for black. Forces rooks off, but here, yeah, white's being very annoying. Gonna pick off the b6 pawn. So there's 1 pawn back. Now I'm gonna get the a5 pawn back. Maybe, maybe not. Doubling here, very interesting. I think rook c1 was just lights out, no? Well, this now too is fine as well. So Chase Fructose wins with a nice checkmate there. A missed opportunity for Georgia Tech, but this evens the score up at 1.5 apiece. We have one final game left in this round 4. Yeah, a lot of the players don't play that consistently on chess.com. That is a potential issue with using ratings to set up the teams. However, for next season, we will require players to play in. Oh, look at this move. Hitting the queen, taking advantage of the pinned pawn. And this knight's going to have a beautiful outpost square on d3. Karkar also up a lot of time. Only 10 seconds for Billy Bob Beanie the third. Oh, queen takes g2 as mate. This is checkmate. So now, I mean, it's still completely the queen had a duty. Let's just say Karkar should see that. All right, there it is. Probably they were not expecting the queen to leave the defense of her king. But anyways, after the first round, we have 2.5 to Duke, 1.5 to Georgia Tech. And it's largely thanks to that threefold repetition that Vignesh saw on the 4th board. All right, so here we have Soy Sapura, the 4th board again for Duke D. They just had a draw against the top board, and now they're playing against AP Truth, Jesse Dill. AP Truth was not one of the AP classes that my high school offered. But it's not a big deal. All right, maybe I should leave the stand up for a different channel. Titus, like, I've heard it all before. Enough with the Dill jokes. Okay, so that game actually didn't start, but I'm sure they'll be back later. Here we have Karkar again, playing against Chrisen 5, the bottom board of Georgia Tech, at 17-14. White taking the center. Black, fianchetto, castle, kingside. White to castle, kingside shortly. I can only presume, unless they go h4 right now. So they didn't go h4. So maybe they'll go all out with f4. f4 is still a good move. So they close the center. That gives up the c5 square. Not going f4, going f3. Defending the e4 pawn. Although the e4 pawn was already defended by the knight and the bishop. I liked the bishop. I probably would have gone like bishop c2. Although I could see why you would prefer the knight to take this bishop, because right now the bishop is locked in behind all the pawns. h4 definitely a double-edged move for sure. Okay, so knight h5. Bishop develops. Pressure on the knight on c5. I don't know if white would take this. This is definitely a good bishop. You want to line up the bishop and the queen to trade off for this dark square bishop. One of the key defenders of black's king is that fianchetto bishop. This knight looking at the f4 square, but white has plenty enough support for it. So we do capture on d3. Queen's going to take. And now f5 from black. Another reason why to put the knight on the rim to get out of the f-pawn's way. And now the threat of black is to simply play f4. So now f4 should be pretty good for black. At least really clamping down on the position. At least this is the move that I would play, but it probably means it's a bad move. So, Chrisen, you should do anything else. Don't trust me. Okay. Bishop to d7. White's playing c5. Really trying to take this space. Black with the counterpunch a5. Going at the base point of this pawn structure. I think a3 could be simple enough. Or maybe you push the pawn and threaten to play c6. Or you play c6 right away. I'm thinking, okay, take takes. If bishop takes, there's queen fork town, right? There is pawn takes here, and you hit this guy. I guess there's still this fork and then take here. Okay, so queen c4, right? Queen c4. I guess there's d5. And if you take this, you get forked here. It's a little complicated. There is like rook d1 in that line pinning the queen. The pawn to the queen, but the queen could move. And then you're once again in a fork. So they find d5. Now, you can take the bishop. You can also just take the pawn. Got to watch out for e4 moves at some point. So, probably you take the bishop. Pawn capture. Pawn capture, and then the bishop can retreat. You have a discovery. Guess you can win this thing. So if e takes, yeah, bishop back, d6. I think black might have like a timely e4 at some point. Bishop to e8. Bishop e8, definitely a move. I think the bishop just has to retreat. Okay, never mind. Black forgot this comes with check. They said, if you take my bishop, I'll take your knight. And white said, all right, I'll like to see you try. Whoops, forgot about that one. And now the knight can be saved by either moving it or taking this pawn. So the pawn has been recaptured. So now Karkar is up a piece. That's how you do tactics. So, yeah, Kristen down material. Gonna have to find something here. Attacking the bishop. The bishop can simply be moved. Or defended. Let's look at some other games. We have Chase Frutos versus Billy Bob Beanie III. The Chase, top board from Duke D, 1900. That was a threat. The knight's here to defend. As they say, a knight on f8, there is no mate. Or so I've been told. So now b3, boxing out this knight on b6, taking away the forward squares. The knight reroutes, looking for a new home. Attacking the e5 pawn. Attacked twice by black, defended only once. So if you want to hold on to this guy, I guess you got to play queen here. And if the pawn tries to flush the queen out, that drops the d pawn. So yeah, queen d4 seems to be the move, in my opinion, if white is to not drop material. Maybe black just piles on this pawn. Maybe like queen e7. Okay. So the threat is knight takes on e5. So what does white do now? I am not sure. Knight g6. They're going with e4, saying if you win my pawn, I will win your d5 pawn. However, if black just takes on e4, I don't know. There's also like knight e6. Knight e6 comes with a fork, forces the queen back. If a knight trade, you have to take back on f4. So I think black should be fine here, winning material. There's no queen e3 apparently. Why is that? Because of d4. Okay, so black simply takes on e4. And now white can take back somehow. So they take with the queen, but now the e5 pawn, knight takes e5. If rook e1 trying to pin the knight can go to g6 defending the queen. Actually, either knight could go to g6. Although probably you don't want to bring the knight on f8 to g6. Okay, so they take, and now yeah, there is rook d1, rook e1. So yeah, Billy Bob up a pawn against the top Duke player. Let's check on Andrews and Gus. So it looks like Andy's low on time. Gus is up a minute, looking to trade rooks, but also looking to get to the 7th rank. White has the slightly better position with the 2-on-1 majority on the outside, attacking that a6 pawn. However, it is not free, as it comes at the price of a back rank mate. So white makes a flight square first and foremost. They save the b pawn. Black trying to save this pawn. This is a big threat to win the bishop. So the king steps aside. And now black's going to try to win the a pawn. So white should maybe try to attack this pawn. So here, there's bishop here to defend. And then we have perhaps bishop here to attack this thing. And then we'll have the rook attack this pawn. If we take here, they'll take here, and that's a pin, but then we can go here. So the bishop's under attack right now. Bishop decides to go here. I don't know, you go here, there's rook here. So now the bishop comes here. Now can we go here? Perhaps bishop here was better, just like way better, because then we could already be taking this pawn. Okay, there's the h7 pawn, but now rook here. Okay, Karkar and Kristen both very low on time. Karkar's still up material. Queen wants to come in here. No, that doesn't. That's the thing when you switch between games. Yeah, both players now under 30 seconds. The queen could also come here and here. Okay, so the knight hits the queen. Queen steps aside, looking to come here. 19 seconds for Karkar. Up a piece, but in time pressure. Is that a free pawn? Comes with tempo on the queen. So the queen attacking this pawn. Attacking the knight. This knight is hanging. No, it's not. The rook is blocked, but the queen is hanging. So the queen's got to move. Here. Here. Uh-oh. Forktown. Rook takes. So Karkar. Oh, takes this way. Hold up. Knight check. That's a fork. Hold on. Hold on. Knight check again. No, just taking this. Taking this. Hitting that. Black. Oh, black has a nice fork. Here's the check. You can't step up. Okay, taking here. Bishop back. There goes that pawn. There goes this pawn, maybe. So yeah, this is a wild game. Lots of things hanging all over the place. Rook hitting the queen. Oh, there's queen e2. Oh, we have AP Truth with the win there. Take on 8. Yeah, so black's queen has gobbled up all the pawns. White's gonna try to get in here. Okay. I would go here maybe. Is that a thing? Maybe not. Oh, this rook's hanging now. Yeah, the rooks needed to stay connected. Otherwise, things like that happen. So, black should win this one pretty easily. Queen check. Queen check. Okay, yeah, all the forks. All the forks. That's another big one. Yeah. All right, so Kristen gonna get the upset win, the board 4 against board 2. And here comes the ladder mate. All right. So now we've got Andy and Gus. Looks like White's gonna win this one pretty soon. That's a checkmate threat. You can push this pawn. King is forced here. That's gonna win the rook. No stalemates. You can make a queen. And now White can make their own little ladder mate with resignation. All right, so Gus with the win and Chase fruit. Okay, so Chase won their game, and then Georgia Tech won everything else. So big round for Georgia Tech, taking the lead actually. Let's see if we can look through this game really quick. An exchange sacrifice. Oh, sneaky back rank. Man, Soy Sapira was doing fantastic. But they blundered. Black needed to make a flight square or block the diagonal or something, and they hung the mates. So that's a huge swing, actually. Soy Sapira could have gotten a point there out of the board 2. So they would have been 1.5 out of 2 against the top 2 boards. So that is the first half of the match. 4.5, 3.5, very close. Waiting for the round 3 to start. Players are taking a little break. A little pause. All right, here we go. We got Jesse versus Chase Frutos. Round 3. All 4 games have started. I mean, their rating is 1165. They were playing really well, and then they hung back rank mate. So perhaps an appropriate rating. I again don't necessarily know. I don't personally know the actual strengths of all 1,000 Collegiate Chess League players, but I can only hope that their ratings are accurate, because that's how we make the teams, and that's how we make the divisions. But I think I mentioned this earlier. We're setting up arenas weekly that players have to play in, and the games will be rated. So that will help fulfill the minimum game requirement for players to no longer be provisional. So I think that's a solid idea. I need to I need to personally play each and every one of these players 20 times so that I personally get a feel of what their true strength is. And then I will decide which team they go on. For all 160 teams, 4 players per team. And that's not including the substitute players. That's the best idea. Thank you, YOLO. I feel like I have a couple good ideas up my sleeve. One idea I had earlier in the season is that so after I play every single player, I will then rank them from 1 to 1,000 based off how strong I think they are. And then what we'll do is we'll take the top 16 players in the league and pair them with the bottom 16 players in the league, put them on teams, and then have them just duke it out. So, yeah, that would be like 4 teams. Go for an England gambit. I'm not the one that's playing. Perhaps one of the team's captains can tell the players to does it look like I'm playing? Okay. Okay, hold on. Black's gonna play okay, now it's my turn. Queen to E3. I'm thinking really hard about it. It's gonna happen. Oh, I mouse slipped. I mean, I brain slipped. I don't know. Sorry. 95 instead. Sometimes I mess things up in my mind. Okay, so black wants to take on E5, but they also want to pin this pawn on D4, but the bishop's in the way. So the queen isn't hanging behind the pawn. So yeah, if the bishop, like, let's say the bishop goes back because we want to go here or something, then black perhaps can take twice here. So the queen gets a little extra support from the knight or the rook. All right, so black opening up the bishop, trying to undermine the d4 pawn. Yeah, there is a rating formula that was used, Wikipedia, and unfortunately, rapid was one of the things used. I think it was worse actually because the formula initially that was used actually prioritized rapid ratings if the rapid rating was higher than the blitz rating. And yeah, we changed that after I caught it. Actually, I didn't catch it. One of the players registering realized that's what we were doing and told me. So we changed that, but I don't know if it was like completely changed. I think it was still perhaps used a little bit, but yeah, we're completely changing registration for next season, which starts mid-February. So if you guys are watching, you don't know what the Collegiate Chess League is, and you're interested in playing in it, you have to be a college student, and you have to have a team of 4 from your school. And yeah, this is the second to last day of the season. We will have one last stream tomorrow, the finals. And okay, can they take twice here? I don't know. Okay. Trying to double the rooks, trying to put more pressure on this knight. This pawn is isolated now. This bishop is hit. If we go here, yeah, I mean, this seems like, oh, no, this is defended. So probably this is the best move. But maybe there's an exchange sacrifice for 2 pieces. So maybe not. Maybe we just go like all the way back. Or maybe we go here. So Soy Supura under a minute less than their opponent, Billy Bob. Do the players only have 4 years of eligibility like a sport? So no. But that is a good idea. Okay, white looks crushing now. The queen's hit. There's going to be discovery. The king's going to have to move. So Karkar is going to go down to the top board of Georgia Tech, assuming this match continues in the current trend. You never know when players can blunder back rank mates, although it's going to be hard for white to do that, but not impossible. If there's a will, there's a way. Not sure if... Okay, how about queen a5? Queen a5, and you just want to move this bishop. I guess there's this, but then there's that. Gus is dangerous. Well, Gus is doing well in this position, that's for sure. Bishop c5, king here. I mean, you could also just leave the bishop there, right? Well, Gus is gonna have to find a move at some point. They're deep in the think tank. A lot of things win for white. They finally make their move. So let's check on Andy, the only player from Duke without a points. Their captain, down on the clock, big time. Grabbing a pawn. Still down a pawn. Black looking to trade some rooks. The bishop can develop to defend. I don't think you want to trade inviting the other rook to the c file, so we do have the bishop here. Bishop takes comes with a punch on the knight. The knight forking the pawns. Bishop defends this one, attacks that one, saying if you take my a pawn, I'll take your b pawn. So Black says, I think I'll hold on to my b pawn because I'm still attacking your a pawn. And now the bishop attacks the rook, but after rook here, the bishop's forced to move. And one of these pawns will fall. So, we have another back rank trick. All right, so here black sees it. They make the flight square. So Andy's down to 20 seconds now, and looks like that trick didn't pan out. Unfortunately, going to drop the e3 pawn now. So Kristen back up to 2-pawn advantage, but this is a very active rook. Knight here threatening a back rank of their own. So the king steps aside. That goes with check. But also this rook can enter the equation and cause some problems. Okay, and not taking the pawn with check, attacking the rook. So the rook attacks the pawn. And I don't think black can save this pawn. We'll see. Here's a check. That's going to grab the bishop, maybe? Perhaps. Takes. So white does have a passed pawn, assuming this pawn falls. If the king stepped up, rook fork would have been really bad. So king goes backwards. Okay, but now rook here, right? Okay. This is a good move, actually. Well, okay, check. I guess you block with the rook then. So can they take, and is this winning? These are the questions you must ask yourself in these rook and pawn endgames. Gus beat Karkar. I think that was expected. Let's tune in real quick to Billy Bob. Billy Bob's the only Georgia Tech player that doesn't have a point. Looking to get their first points against Soy Sapura, who is under 20 seconds now. Actually, this game very low on the clock as well. Let's see. So black just dropped the pawn, or white just dropped the pawn. Black picked up the pawn, but now white opening up a discovery. Bishop takes defending this. Bishop takes a7. Bishop discovery on the rook, or with the rook. Bishop steps back, hitting the knight. Knight moves, hitting the bishop. Pawn push, saving the pawn. Pawn push, hitting the rook. Knight hits the bishop. Pressure here. Will black take this? Save the bishop first. Now defend the pawn. Doubled. Rook here, perhaps. Can we take this guy? Yes. Bishop takes, rook takes. Oh, interesting. Giving check here. There's no rook here because of the bishop. So have to go for the counterattack. taking here. This is hanging. King steps up. There's check. Rook takes away the second. Both players under 15 seconds. Andy beat Kristen. So that's their first point of the match. So what is going on here? Black is up a pawn, but it seems to be a draw. Move the king. Or take. There's another check. King blocked from entering. So now the pawns want to push the knight out. What's up, Amazing Lines? Thank you for the follow. This is a tournament, yes. This is the semifinals. Ooh, this king very short on squares. But there's no mate. Not yet. Rook comes all the way back. Pawn check. Pawn wants to go to g3. That renews back rank mate ideas. This is division 6 of 10 divisions. Ooh, rook check's gonna be brutal. King here. Where's the discovery? I don't actually see one. Here you just go back. Oh my god, 1 second. They gotta go fast. They're repeating because they're trying to find something. They can go backwards. They're gonna trade here. So 2 pawns to 1. 6 seconds. The king's coming in. Black is definitely the favorite side here with that extra pawn, but this blockade on the light squares and this pawn and the knight combining to blockade the king out. Now the king has taken the center. So white's playing this really well. Knight in, probably h4, knight back, and now I don't know if you want to go h3 because you're going to be left with an outside pass pawn, yes, but you're promoting on a light square. This is a dark square bishop. So the king steps back. Ooh, king here, forking the pieces. This is going to be a win. This is going to be a win for black. Winning the knight, and now they're going to box the king away from the pawn, and this pawn is promoting. That is game over. So white was holding up well, but in the time pressure, unable to defend, and yeah, Chase Rudo's top board from Duke D gets the job done. Billy Bob Beanie also got their first point. So everyone here has a point so far. That is the score after 3 rounds. So we have 1 final round left, unless the teams go to overtime, which would be if they tie 8-8. But right now, Georgia Tech's got that 1 point lead thanks to their 3-1 score in the second round. So the teams split that 3rd round there, and now we have the 4th round. So each board will play the same board from the other team. Rookie one was stalemate. I didn't see the stalemate. All right, so here we have a Sicilian defense from Soy Sapura. Yeah, that was a very interesting end game there. That it seemed like white could have potentially held the draw, but in that time pressure, it's very tricky. So hard to tell. But yeah, it all comes down to this, the 4th and final round of the match, unless they tie. So Duke needs 2.5 points to Georgia Tech's 1.5. If Duke wins 3 out of the 4 games, they can clinch the win. But yeah, Georgia Tech, they only need 2. They only need 2 out of the 4. So if they can split this round, they win the match, and they will move on to the finals. Which will be played tomorrow. If you guys are interested, we have all these playoff brackets you can see, and we also have prizes. We have a total prize fund of $25,000 to be split amongst the winners here in the playoffs, and it's based off the division. So the top division, D1, the first place prize is $5,000. here in Division 6, let me see. The prize funding is $500 for first place. So a win here for either of these teams guarantees $300. Now, if they lose today, they have a chance tomorrow in the third and fourth place match. If they win tomorrow, then they get $200. But if they lose both today and tomorrow, they go home with nothing. So we got some money on the line in this game, in this match. So yeah, here we have Kristen and Soy Sapura, the bottom boards of both teams. Soy Sapura started off hot with a draw against the top board, Georgia Tech. They dropped 2 since then, and now they're playing against Kristen, who's got a point. Oh, and 3 against the 3 remaining teams. Well, these are definitely the toughest teams left. Well, Duke D to get here had a upset win against the 2nd seed, UC San Diego's B team. Although Georgia Tech also had a very big upset against USC's B team, board 3. So both of these teams have shown they are capable of taking down higher seeds. Georgia Tech's going to have to do it from now on the rest of the tournament. I think this is Duke's only time they're actually the favorite in the playoffs. No, they beat the 10th seed UCLA. Busted my bracket in the wild card match. So, yeah, we have brackets for each division. I think it's really cool. You can make a prediction. Not anymore. The season the stand what am I trying to say? The playoffs have started. The tournament started, so you can't make any predictions now. But at the start, you could have made one, and the winner, the player that predicts the best bracket will win a diamond membership for each division. So we're giving out 10 diamond memberships total. I like bishop to g5 a lot. Bishop g5 is looking pretty juicy. Boom, pin. Pressure. Takes here. I take back with the knight. More pressure. There's no bishop block. This pawn's going to have to move. This king's going to be exposed. Queen's going to come in. The attack is starting for Kristen. Kristen, 1700, much higher rated player than Soy Sapura. So Georgia Tech, definitely the higher rated team on paper. And they are up by a point. So let's see if they can hold on. So White's looking good here. Georgia Tech only needs 2 points to clinch the win, guaranteeing their club some extra prize funds. Titus, the captain of Georgia Tech, already guaranteed their team $500 by winning the weekly arena prize by getting the highest combined score out of all the weekly arenas, despite not having played, I believe, in the first 3. So, okay. White can take on e4 with the bishop if they want to. This king's very exposed. This king's missing its g-pawn. Something happened on f5. So, yeah, probably, I mean, you can move the queen somewhere. Queen e2. Maintain pressure here. So now, knight takes. Pawn takes. And then, like, rook here. Yeah, I don't know. You probably have to go queen f3. And then takes. Okay, pressure here instead. A rook e8's looking kind of juicy. I agree. I agree with the sentiment. This is AP Truth versus Karakar. So Jesse's got a time advantage here. Average turning rating be done. So like I said, the players are required to join a weekly arena, like a minimum number. It's not gonna be too many during the off season. Queen here would threaten mate, but the knight can take here. But yeah, after players' ratings are no longer provisional, we will basically list them all out. Okay, bishop here with tempo. I guess you dropped that though. So maybe not. And then when players register, they will be okay. This opens up the pressure here. So bishop back hits this. But yeah, black is completely crushing here. Rook f8, beautiful move. Threatening knight fork, discovery. Yeah, this is gonna be game over. I think Georgia Tech is gonna take this match. Here at the top boards, Chase Frutos looks to be doing well against Gus. Sorry, I'm delaying the question. Basically, once they get their ratings, we will put them on like a list based off their rating, so higher to lower, and then captains will decide where they want the line to be the cutoff between like team A and team B, basically. Okay, so looks like Gus should be winning a pawn back, but now the B pawn is hanging. And then basically the team average will only be taken from the top 4 players of the team. I think that's probably the information that you have been waiting to hear. Okay. So yeah, we're not taking substitute player ratings into account. So actually white was not up any pawns. They were up in exchange. My bad. But they go bishop here with tempo on the rook, and now I assume they're gonna play b5. Okay, so how to make progress here? Your a2 pawn is hanging. Let's look at some of the other games. This game is actually pretty close. Kristen was doing well last I saw. Looks like they're still doing well. So gonna be hard for Soy Superior to defend this. A lot of issues here. This is gonna to fall, and then bishop here threatens the defender. I have a draw offer somewhere. Who offered that draw? How's Billy Bob doing? Ooh, they're way down on the time. So Andy likely to get a point here for the Duke team, which is very much needed. Okay, Karkar and AP Truth. Looks like black is doing fairly well. Although their pawn structure is really weird. But they're up 2 pawns, so that's promising. Attacking this thing. I think you could take here. No, this should be pretty good. Here, and there's going to be a fork. So, yeah, I really don't like this rook b6 move. Also, very low on time. So, I think Karkar is going to lose. Yeah, you take here first with check. Very important. And now you take here, and you're up a rook. This is game over. Okay, so that's one of the 2 points Georgia Tech needs. This game, Chase is down to 30 seconds. But still up in exchange still. So, okay, Andy won. So that ties the score 6.5, 6.5. The captain from Duke took down Billy Bob Beanie. Here we have the board 4s. Looks like Kristen's still doing well against Soy Supura. They're advancing their outside passed pawns. It's going to be hard for black to stop. Black's got a fork on the pawns. Are they going to grab on e4? Yes. Rook takes on h4 is a threat, actually. Oh. Advancing the pawn. Bishop here. Rook here. Bishop here. Rook here. So white's going to get the bishop back. There goes this pawn. No, there's check. Oh. Hello. You can also maybe go here. But I like this. Okay, just pushing the pawn, very peculiar. Whoa, no time. Oh, so superior flagged. So that's okay, Karkar, 8 features. So yeah, I think with that Georgia Tech wins the game. So that is 8.5. We got one last game left, but it's not gonna matter. Win or lose or draw, and Georgia Tech has the match clinched. 8.5. And yeah, we got about 15 minutes before the next match starts, but we'll watch the rest of this. Man, yeah, this was a close one. Duke had the lead after the first round, but Georgia took it in round 2 and held on to it until the very end. What's up, Mark Ciavelli? Something like that, I guess, Jeffrey. Who's in the next match? So after this, we will be watching one of the Indian schools from Jabalpur play against Carnegie Mellon's B team. If you want to see the full schedule, it's been announced in our Discord server. Which I still haven't announced that we're live because I like rushed to go live here. But after that, that's the second Division 6 semifinals. So the winner of this match will play the winner of the next match we're about to see. And the loser of this match will play the loser of the next match we're about to see. So Gus wins this one for Georgia Tech. So final score 9.5, 6.5.